Welcome to the HFG podcast, Unlocking Potential. Thanks for tuning in to our first episode. On today's episode, we're talking with Mike Fitzgerald on the topic of cybersecurity and security awareness. Mike joined the HFG family in June 2004 and has been working to keep our data protected ever since. Welcome, Mike.
How you doing, Jenny? Thanks for inviting me.
I'm doing great, thanks. We're so happy to have you. Let's start by talking about cybersecurity. And what exactly is cybersecurity?
So, cybersecurity is the protection of internet-connected systems, such as computers, servers, mobile devices, networks, and data from malicious attacks. The practice of cybersecurity is used by individuals and enterprises in order to protect against unauthorized access to data centers and other computerized systems.
Wow. That sounds like a lot. What are the biggest challenges that you and your team face in this area?
Unfortunately, the rise in cyber threats has grown exponentially over the years, as everything these days is connected to the internet. Think of how crippled we'd all be if we actually lost access to the systems and services that we come to rely on for everyday life. Our phones, Netflix, Amazon shopping, and that's just in our personal lives. As a business, the IT team is constantly monitoring and enhancing our defenses in order to keep NPPI, which is non-public personal information, protected from cyber threats. This is all of the customer data and personal information to the business that a cyber criminal would love to get their hands on and sell to the highest bidder. So keeping our banking family aware of the threats and challenges that are out there through testing and training actually helps to bring the awareness that is all of our jobs in order to keep the information safe.
That definitely makes sense. I think we all need to be aware. And I know I would be lost if I lost my Netflix account access.
You'd be surprised, all of those things that we've come accustomed to, automated homes, Amazon, Alexa, turn on the lights, think about all the Fire Sticks, the Google Chromecasts and everything of that nature.
Right.
Not to mention just access to the internet. People would be lost without their Facebooks and the social media posts and everything.
Right. Great points.
Everything is just so connected nowadays in your personal lives with the electronics that everybody has right at their disposal in the palm of your hand that it's just as critical to understand that at home.
Right, especially with an iPhone where it's automatically doing your security for you, with the face recognition and stuff, that maybe you don't think that when you're clicking or downloading something that you could automatically be doing something.
Correct. That's why some, best practices for things at home for people and individuals is always that multi-factor authentication, right? So, signing up for those different things that if you have the option when you're going and logging into an online banking account or your credit card or even paying an auto payment, right? If they give that option for that secondary form of authentication, it's great to actually do that. Get a text sent to your phone or an email or something sent. So that is one additional way that it authorizes you.
Right. And I feel like sometimes people may not want to be bothered with that extra step, but knowing how important it is, maybe we do want to make sure we take that extra step every time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the key to, protecting and saving the data.
Let me ask you this. With the work from home arrangements, how does remote work affect this cybersecurity? How does that come into play?
So that's also another big threat that we have tools in place in order to help protect against that. Users who have remote access from home have a multi-factor authentication, so they have VPN access. So what keeps it an extra layer of security for us is as that user is using a bank-owned device or a personal device when they're allowed to sign in, they have requirements that they have to have up-to-date antivirus, that their machine patching is up to date, and when they log into the VPN, they also authenticate with another multi-factor layer, such as a code from their phone. And on top of that, our system looks at the environment and looks for things saying, do you have an antivirus that's active? Do you have certain requirements that are up to date? And if they aren't, that layer doesn't allow them in.
Ah, interesting. That's good to know. Thinking about internet connections, when people are connecting to the internet at home, I'm assuming they have to have a security level of some sort. Like someone can't just go sit in a Starbucks and connect to the public Wi-Fi and expect to work through VPN. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, you'd consider your home network, even though it's considered a public internet, you've been assigned your own specific network and everything into your house, so it's more of a private network, and that's allowable for connection there. But when you go and you've got these public access, this public Wi-Fi, you've got multiple people that are connecting to that same environment, and so we don't allow users to actually use the public Wi-Fi because there is that extra layer of protection. Not to mention the connectivity, but also just peeping eyes on data or things that you're doing.
Right. So if I was working remotely, would something like my phone's hotspot, would that work for me?
Yes, that would be okay, because that there again is your own personal device that has a connection that is single to that device, and a hotspot definitely would be allowed.
Great. Thank you so much. Speaking of that, what's the biggest risk if an employee opens an infected email or clicks on a link that they shouldn't? Is it really that big of a deal?
Well, phishing emails are one of the biggest threats and one of the easiest ways that a criminal can compromise a user and steal information, such as installing a malware or keyloggers, which track everything that's being typed or accessed, or on a much larger scale, installing ransomware that can encrypt data and compromise an entire network and hold all the data hostage. So is it really a big deal? I would say that it's kind of a big deal, since one click is all that it takes for a potential threat to give someone an awfully bad day.
Oh, wow. So I guess it is that big of a deal.
Yes, it is.
So what can employees do to protect themselves and protect the bank from threats like these?
Be vigilant. Pay attention to the details and your gut. If it doesn't look right, or if you question any bit of a situation, then contact IT. Phishing emails are becoming more and more sophisticated, and being aware of where an email comes from and what the content is trying to get you to do is the key to keep your data and the bank's data safe. Looking at your emails, making sure that you know where that email address is coming from. Paying attention when you're at work. Is it something that is an internal email that's coming from HR? Or is it tagged with that external? And really paying attention that anything that would be within our environment is not going to have that external tag. So anything that is from external is paying attention. Do you trust? Do you know where this is coming from? And if it is, why would there be some links in there? And understanding before you click on the link, hovering over it to actually take a look and see where is it going. Does it seem like it fits the company? Is it legit? And rather than clicking the link, sometimes it's better to just go to the website itself, type it in the link to see if you can get to where it is.
Right.
All these little things kind of help protect it, because it's amazing what can be embedded within an email. Like I said, the malware, keyloggers, ransomware, all of these things can just sit and embed themselves in an email, and then you wouldn't even know. They can embed themselves on your machine, and they can sit there for months without doing anything and just watching and monitoring, and then all of a sudden activate.
Yeah, that's definitely scary to think about. I know I always want to be vigilant thinking about all of these things. I know things like the phrase of the day on the Vine is very helpful for internal emails.
Yeah, it is. For support, for internal emails, that phrase of the day is also good. Is that extra layer that's, as we're growing in this bank and there's more and more employees, we have less of that face-to-face with individuals anymore, especially with so many remote users and stuff, that when IT is doing support or other areas are having, conversations and supporting individuals, that phrase of the day is that one piece that can be used because only the bank employees have access to it. So relying on your security awareness trainings and the educational tips that are posted on the internet will help to keep us all aware and keeping cybersecurity top of mind.
Mike, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. Before we say goodbye, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, first I want to say thank you for allowing me to spend a few minutes today to bring awareness to the banking family. And I want you all to remember to trust your instincts and to contact IT support with any questions if something doesn't seem right. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Great. Thank you so much.